Good, happy Saturday morning, June 19, 2021. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Saturday morning edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Saturday morning, so let's begin and let's get started. First up, enhanced federal unemployment benefits and Saturday in New Hampshire. New workers can apply for one-time bonuses. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Mike Cronin.
Their reviews, our reviews.
I'm so happy.
Find out what we're all about at adamvroofing.com.
Despite this move, people still can apply for state unemployment benefits. $300 a week in federal unemployment benefits will be gone as of Saturday. Some Granite staters are questioning the decision.
I don't understand it at all because it's not taking away from anything else in the state.
Matt Parker says he was laid off from his software job at the beginning of the pandemic and that his son recently passed away. He says the weekly checks helped him through a tough time.
Having the federal program really was a godsend.
The state says about 8,500 people will be affected by the expiring benefits. Kira Ireland says she had to quit her job after getting COVID, which led to other health issues.
People would say, oh, well, you're getting a handout. Well, I still wasn't making the same amount of money that I was making if I was actually working.
Officials are trying to spur interest in the workforce and help businesses struggling with staffing by offering a summer stipend of $1,000 for full-timers and $500 for part-timers after working for 8 weeks.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime type of market that we see right now with the incentives that are being offered. So really no reason to not get out there and find that job that you've been looking for.
The state's unemployment rate is down to 2.5%, one of the lowest in the country.
It is an employee's market, so to say. Employees can really dictate the terms, if you will, for a lot of different opportunities.
Since announcing last month that the federal benefits would expire this weekend, the state says about 10,000 people have gotten off unemployment and back into the workforce. In Manchester, Mike Cronin, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Big crowds rounded out the 98th Annual Motorcycle Week. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Mainly Tubs is celebrating 43 years. Join their anniversary sales celebration with great deals on world-class relaxation products, like free saltwater system upgrades on their saltwater-ready hot tubs, cash and carry incentives on hundreds of free-flow and Nordic hot tubs, and their new outdoor barrel saunas are now in stock, all available with special 0% for 60-month, no-stress financing. Sale ends June 28th. Visit a Mainly Tubs showroom or mainlytubs.com and start relaxing today.
Certainly the biggest crowds I've seen in the last few years.
The 98th Laconia Motorcycle Week is ending on a strong note. Laconia Police Chief Matt Canfield says the crowd started flooding into Lakeside Ave on Friday and have remained throughout the week.
The first weekend was very busy, and certainly today is looking like it's ramping up to be very busy, and we anticipate it being busy the rest of the weekend.
There's a lot of bikes coming in from every direction.
Jennifer Anderson is the deputy director of the Laconia Motorcycle Week Association. She says it's nice to see old friends again, people who couldn't make it last year because of COVID-19.
You can feel the energy of everyone, the positivity all week long. People are so grateful to be able to actually be out.
Although the 97th Motorcycle Week still went on last year, it was held on a much smaller scale because because of state mandates. But this year, those mandates are gone. And Anderson says that is attracting more people, which also brings some much-needed financial relief to local businesses.
We're talking about a boost to the economy that's over $100 million on average each year.
And when the 98th Motorcycle Week comes to an end on Sunday, planning for next year and beyond begins.
So we're planning for the next 2 years because we've got the 99th next year and then, of course, the big 100th anniversary in 2023.
And Laconia Motorcycle Week is actually the oldest motorcycle rally in the world, so you can bet that 100th anniversary celebration will be a big one. Reporting in Laconia, I'm Tim Callery, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. One more Granite Stater dies of COVID-19 as cases remain steady. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
As we ease back into life with friends and family, Mahindra is here to help on the good days.
Tonight, DHHS reporting 25 new cases of COVID-19 and 1 new death. Active cases are still at 265. 19 people are hospitalized. With today's update, none of New Hampshire's counties are seeing substantial spread of COVID-19. Sullivan County is now in the moderate range, and Coos County is down in the minimal range.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Woman jumps from balcony to escape burning home in Merrimack. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Their reviews, our reviews.
I'm so happy.
Find out what we're all about at adamvroofing.com.
This is all that's left of the home at Two Shore Drive Extension on Babusick Lake today after a fire ripped through the roof Thursday evening. Drone video capturing the scene as firefighters work to assess the situation.
Initial call came in shortly before 7. First arriving crews found heavy fire conditions in a log-type home right on the lakefront, right on Babusick Lake.
Initial reports said someone may have been inside the home.
They made a rapid entry over a ladder onto the second floor in an attempt to do a search, but were almost immediately chased out by the fire.
Around that same time, Merrimack Fire says they learned everyone evacuated, including a woman who jumped from a second-story balcony and was rescued by a boater. She was taken to the hospital, and her grandson tells News 9 she's expected to be okay.
When we are able to confirm that everybody's out, that's our key objective checked off right there.
Merrimack Fire says the volume of the fire and narrow access made it difficult to fight, and at one point getting adequate water was an issue.
A large amount of debris apparently got flushed out of the water main and was trapped in the intake screen on our fire engine to block the water coming in. So we had to just make alternative arrangements. But we were able to use the hydrants in the area once we got that cleared up.
And a couple of firefighters were taken to the hospital. They were treated and released for exhaustion and minor burns. The cause of the fire is under investigation. In Merrimack, Jessica Moran, WMUR News.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Rye Harbor dredging complete, allowing boats to pass easily. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Their reviews, our reviews.
I'm so happy.
Find out what we're all about at adamvroofing.com.
Commercial fishermen can now come and go from Rye Harbor when they need to. Charter boats can keep their schedules, and keels won't get stuck after the Army Corps of Engineers finished dredging this spring.
It wasn't uncommon to see a boat in the middle of the channel, sitting on the bottom, waiting for the tide to lift it so it could get past that high spot.
Silt builds up over about 20 years. It's been 30 since Rye was last dredged. Senator Jeanne Shaheen taking a tour today after pushing it through a backlog of projects among small ports and harbors on the East Coast.
It revitalizes the harbor. It had to happen, and it wouldn't have happened without Senator Shaheen.
Judd is actually being much too modest, because what really got our attention was when he I think, called and left me a message that he was sending a petition with over 500 names of people who wanted to see this harbor dredged.
It's actually 2 down and 1 to go. Senator Shaheen shepherding a dredging effort in Seabrook and Hampton Harbor, now Rye, and next is a ship turning basin in the Piscataqua River.
The turning basin is 800 feet in diameter, and our state pilots are turning 764-foot-long ships in that turning basin.
Senator Shaheen says an infrastructure package in the works in Washington includes a piece providing additional support for small ports and harbors.
Hopefully that will go through. We'll get some additional funding and make sure that we don't have to wait another 30 years. When we need to dredge this harbor again, the funding will be there.
In Rye, Jennifer Crompton, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Canadian safety officials, U.S.-Canada border restrictions extended to July 21. Restrictions have been in place for nearly 15 months. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
As we ease back into life with friends and family, Mahindra is here to help on the good days and the tough ones.
You can see the joy the last time Carly Poulin and her husband saw his grandparents in Canada in December of 2019. They're twins, just 6 months old. Then the pandemic hit, and the U.S.-Canada border has been closed ever since. Now, the twins are 2. They interact with their great-grandparents only through a screen.
They know who Nini and Papa are, but they're just voices in a picture right now. Hopefully someday they can hug them.
And while this toddler knows exactly where her great-grandparents live, Carly says under Canada's current regulations, even if they quarantine and even though all the adults are vaccinated, they're not allowed to visit her husband's grandparents because they're over 65.
My children are being robbed of that time. They do have great-grandparents alive and they just can't see them.
Time this Manchester family can never get back. And like so many other families, they're waiting for answers on when they can cross the northern border to finally care for those they love in person.
It's been really hard. So Papa has been in the hospital. He had a stroke. He's starting to suffer from like dementia and Alzheimer's. Nini had a heart attack in the hospital and no one's been able to go up to take care of her.
Tonight, 2 airline trade groups are pushing the Canadian government to open their border to more U.S. travelers. Right now, those traveling from the U.S. to Canada must prove their travel is essential and must test for COVID-19 and quarantine upon arrival.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And let's take a look at this. Viewer's Choice 2021 Best Lobster Rolls in New Hampshire. Let's see where the 5 best lobster rolls are right in New Hampshire.
As we ease back into life with friends and family, Mahindra is here to help on the good days and the tough ones. So visit whymahindra.com and build your tough tractor. Your Mahindra dealer will give you a quote and deliver to your land. Mahindra, the official tractor of tough. Get special savings now during Mahindra's summer sale.
Chapel Tractor, where you'll notice the difference since 1955.
are the best lobster rolls. Meet Oprah Lee, the Juneteenth grandmother of the movement.
Welcome to the Disney Bundle, where Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus come to life on all your...
Finally tonight, America Strong, the grandmother of Juneteenth. Tonight, Americans across the country honoring Juneteenth. Volunteers planting flowers in Pittsburgh. Students gathering at the Capitol in Madison, Wisconsin. Juneteenth is the first federal holiday to be named since Martin Luther King Jr. Day in 1983, and it remembers Freedom Day for American slaves, when federal troops set free the last remaining slaves in America in Galveston, Texas, who had no idea they had been freed years before. And one of the Americans fighting for decades for this recognition, 94-year-old Opal Lee from Fort Worth, Texas. Her home was set on fire by white rioters on Juneteenth, 1939. And so for years now, Opal Lee has been walking 2.5 miles on Juneteenth, raising awareness for the 2.5 years it took for news of freedom to reach all the slaves. Speaking before lawmakers, petitioning Congress, delivering more than 1.5 million signatures to make it a holiday. Even walking an astonishing 1,400 miles from her home in Fort Worth, Texas to Washington, D.C. for 4 months to plead her case.
I'm really a little old lady in tennis shoes getting in everybody else's business, and I'm having a good time doing it, too.
All right. And this week, when President Biden signed Juneteenth into law, Opal Lee was right there. Kamala Harris, the first black vice president, holding her hand. The president inviting her to the White House, kneeling before her.
She's made it her mission to see that this day came, to make this day possible.
Tonight, Opal Lee and her message.
I just know that the time has come for us to work together.
Sure has. An amazing woman. And be sure to watch tonight, Juneteenth, Together We Triumph, a Soul of a Nation special event. It airs tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern here on ABC. I'm Wade Johnson in New York. Have a great night.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And a little bit more about Juneteenth, the new federal holiday in the United States. Abolition of slavery announced in Texas on Juneteenth, and what is known as Juneteenth on June 19, 1865. Union soldiers arrived in Galveston, Texas with news that the Civil War is over and slavery in the United States is abolished. A mix of June and the 19th. Juneteenth has become a day to commemorate the end of slavery in America. So that is the new federal holiday that President Joe Biden signed into law. Our new federal holiday, Juneteenth. And if you want to read more about this, we will share the link with you on the Right Linking Network Facebook page. And thank you for joining us for this Saturday morning edition of the Right Linking Newscast. Have a great day, everyone, and goodbye. I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit.